Hello everybody, Nine and Days. Happy Friday. How's everybody today? I hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing pretty good. All getting ready for the weekend. Me and hubby going out for dinner tonight. We're going to have some fish and chips for Friday. So there's a restaurant here has a really good special on fish and chips. So that's where we're off to tonight. Anyway, that's Ms. Viv. My daughter cleaned up her face a little bit and cleaned her girly bits and stuff. So anyway, let me turn this around. Howdy. How are you? All right. This is going to be Freaks on Friday. That's right, Freaks on Friday. To hear about that Louisiana governor just signed that bill that every school, K through 12, has to have the 10 Commandments in it. Now, what about the Jewish kids? What about the Muslim kids? Or the Islamic kids? What about them? What about kids that wouldn't know a church if it fell on them? What about those kids? Apparently, it's a violation of the First Amendment. But do they care? No, they friggin' don't. They don't care. They will do whatever the hell they like. And because it's for the children, if there was more godliness in the schools, kids would be better. Well, you know what? That stuff starts at home. You know where they learn all the dirt? At school. My daughter was forbidden to get any piercings until she was 18. She was 14 years old and she came home. She went to say goodbye to some friends we had over to the house at the door there. And she gave a big stretch and there she had a belly button ring. And I looked and I said, "Where did you get that?" She goes, "Oh." So yeah, she went, and you know where she got it done? At school. On the tennis court. Yeah, the tennis court is where they hung out. Nobody played tennis. They just hung out at the tennis court. So, yeah, they learn that stuff at school because we have a set of rules at home. But they don't have the same set of rules in everybody else's home. So that's why you teach that stuff to your children in your home, not in a public place. And now they're, in Louisiana, they're losing public schools to these charter schools who are just in it for the children. They're saying you have choice, but you don't have choice because all these people like Betsy DeVos, who runs most of the charter schools because she's got more money than God would ever need. She's out there talking about homeschooling and charter schools. But charter schools can teach whatever the hell they like. They don't have to teach a curriculum that the regular kids should be learning. Most of it's religious. And like I said, what do you do with the kids that aren't Christians? I don't get it. So all these very people, like Lauren Boebert was out there the other day, going on about how it's about time that they're bringing godliness into the schools and having the 10 Commandments and all this stuff. Well, they're not doing it in Colorado in her state. But he's a really good friend of hers. She's only been in Congress for 5 years. She doesn't have any really good friends. Well, they don't hate her as much as they hate Marjorie Taylor Greene, no. So there's that. Now, here's this woman professing to be the good Christian, but when she was 17, her, well, now ex-husband, hauled out his weenus on the table between her, who was underage at the time, and 2 other underage girls, and got thrown out of the bowling alley. So, she thought that was so cool, she married him. And then, before she turned 18, she had her first kid. And then, she popped out a couple more. I think she's got 3 boys. So she had all those. But in between all that stuff, she's been arrested. She was an unlicensed escort because that's how Ted Cruz ran into her. She was a paid guest at the time Koch brothers party. One of them is dead now. So yeah, she was a paid guest. She was an escort. And that's how Ted Cruz hooked up and said, oh, you look good. Maybe you'd like to get into politics. Like, that was the furthest thing from her mind, let me tell you. She was barely paying bills. That's why she was doing escorts and stuff. Barely paying the bills. Had no health insurance, no nothing. But old Ted took a shine to her. Just saying. Another freak in the sheets. So there she is, professing to be all goodly and godly. Apparently had, I don't know this for a fact, but they're going to court about it because Buddy thinks she's got good information, that she's had 2 abortions. Don't know if they were all Jason with the Y's, though. So there's that. Plus, before she announced her separation from her husband there, remember she was supposed to do the vote on the House floor there? I forget what it was for now. Doesn't matter. But she was running. Her hair was all askew, like she just crawled out of the back seat of a pickup. She missed the vote. And then she lied to everybody saying, oh, well, that was my personal protest. It was a silent protest. I just wasn't going to show up for that. Meanwhile, she was all out of breath and freaking out because she missed the vote and trying to run up the steps. And one of the reporters going, it's closed. You missed it. She started running up there and no, she didn't get a chance to vote. So she's all this carry-on that she's doing. But she's a good Christian girl, isn't she? And then we found out how much she cares about her brother man. That boy got the massage of his life at a family production of Beetlejuice. And he got to test out her new chess toys. Just saying. So yeah, when you call the pot calling the kettle black there, everybody else should live their life. Maybe she needs to just look in a mirror. Just saying, she needs to look in a mirror. So there's that one. And then there's the Ziglers, because they are back. Old Bridget Zigler. She was one of the initial founders of the Bitches of Bedlam there. The Maids of Mayhem. Moms for Liberty. She was one of the original founders of that because it was for the children. We can't have all that gayness being taught to the children, because that's what the charter schools, you have to sign a contract and it says that you are going to be okay if your child's sitting in class and they start demonizing the gay kids because it's a sin against God and God thinks it's abhorrent and they're going to go to hell. So picture that for your 3-year-old who's taught to love everybody like themselves. Except if you're in the LGBTQ with that beautiful rainbow spectrum. You're going to die because you're going to burn in the fiery hells. So it's all for the children. And what does she do? She orders her husband, who was the head of the Florida Republican National Committee. He's the one that was breaking in all the millions for everybody in Florida there. And what's he do? They're out there having 3-ways, but she has him go out and meet all these women, have sex with them, videotape them, and make sure he gets that video footage home to her. She's the real freak in the family. He's bad enough for going out there and do it. He's still charged with some sexual harassment, abuse, whatever. That's still on the books. Another GOP guy up in, I think it was Michigan, that had a stripper over at his house, and they got into it a bit. More way than one, I'm thinking. But, yeah, they get into some kind of altercation. He hauls out a gun and starts shooting off this gun and chasing her down the road till the cops showed up. So there's that. But back to the Ziglers there. Most of this was her making him go out and film all these women and then bring them home to her. He had him out there friggin' stalking women. Imagine. So yeah, talking about a freak in the sheets. I mean, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But then don't you turn around in the next breath and start shoving all that garbage about you're in it for the children and it's all about God and it's God this and your God that. Well, that's just it. It's your God. It's not most people's God. So, when you're out there doing some of the, well, in my opinion, I'm pretty vanilla when it comes to sex. I'm just saying. Not that you needed to know that. But yeah. And she's got her husband out there stalking women, bedding them, and then bringing the evidence home to her so she can watch in bed, I don't know what, eating bonbons and having a martini, what? But they both enjoyed that because they had a 3-year affair with another woman. The three of them met regularly. One of them, a couple of them, I think, and one of them is who he's charged of assaulting. So figure that one out. But these charter schools and stuff like that are taking money away from the public schools, and public schools are starting to close now because they can't afford it, because these charter schools run by people like Betsy DeVos, like I said, have bazillions of dollars, are taking over. And they're having these friggin' kids. They're going to be stupid. By the time they graduate, they're all going to be Marjorie Taylors. They're going to be all Maggie Trader Greens and Lauren Boeberts by the time they get out of school, because they're not going to know an effing thing. Up here, kids have to take and pass a civics course before they can even graduate high school. They don't pass the civics course, they're staying behind until they do. They don't get, they're not allowed to graduate. So at least the kids up here know something about government. I'm not saying a hell of a lot, because I don't know. But yeah, they have to pass that civics test or they don't pass high school. They got 4 years to do the course. It's only a half a semester, but if you don't pass it, you don't get your diploma. Don't get your diploma, you don't go to post-secondary school. So at least there's that. But yeah, that's the freaks in the sheets for Friday, everybody. Oh, and then there's always Maggie Trader, the town boy there, going on about, I don't worship Donald Trump, I worship God. Is that before or after you done the tantric sex guru or the other two gym rats that you were doing for a while there? And then whoever you were doing until you hooked up with Brian, what's-his-face, who, by the way, is just using you so he can get somewhere in the news world. Not so much with you, though, but he's trying. He's trying. He's hanging on for dear life, hoping you're going to promote him to something important. Let me know when that happens. Anyway, 99 loves you. Be good, be safe. Please take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else. If you're new, subscribe. I love you all. Have a fabulous weekend. Mwah. Turn this around. There's the Viz. Okay, let's go in, Vivi. Let's go. Okay, away you go. Nope, in the front. In the front. Yep. Yep. Good girl. Okay, everybody. 99 loves you. Be good, be safe. And I'm out of here. I love you.